Hey you, what if I tell you that we already had something similar to the euro for more than 60 years in Europe? I bet you have never heard of the story, but it's true. So, what do you think how this happened? Wanna find out? Let's go! I'm new to this whole YouTube thing and I want to improve myself to give you better content. I want to talk with you about economics, its history, its impact, and also why it's important for us all and therefore understand the world a little bit better. If you are interested in these topics or you just want to see the channel grow, please do not forget to click subscribe. Also, please let me know in the comments below what I can do better and what topics you're interested in. With this out of the way, let's go back to the video. It was the year 1865 when the Latin Monetary Union was established. Napoleon III was ruling France and tried to re-establish the hegemonial power which France once had under Napoleon Bonaparte. To increase the influence on other countries, he did not just use military power, but also more and more diplomatic approaches to minimize direct conflicts and also to have more calculated risks, especially financial-wise. Besides the strong political competition within Europe, also the economical competition was seemingly increasing. Globalization was on the rise. Especially the merchants and businessmen were demanding more standardized measurements of goods, but also of the used currency to smoothen the trade process. Therefore, the French politicians saw a monetary union as a good vehicle to satisfy the demands of the merchants, but also to push their foreign policy with exporting the French currency system to other European countries. To attract as many other countries as possible, there were no strict rules who could imply the currency system. You just had to be willing to join. It was very important to France to stage the whole idea to be more driven by the smaller states. But in fact, it was France who had the power over all major decisions when it came to the currency. For instance, all other founding states besides France voted to implement a system based on a gold standard. France, however, they wanted to keep their bimetallism, meaning the currency was based on gold and silver. And France kept the upper hand in this discussion. France was also giving the standards for the mintage, which meant the smaller countries had to follow the lead of France. There was the possibility to have on assemblies votes on different critical topics, but as there was no supranational institution, there was on the one hand no binding decisions, but on the other hand the smaller countries still wanted to stay on good terms with France and didn't vote against ideas of France. Additional to the non-existence of a supranational institution, the whole contract of the Latin Monetary Union did not include any sanction mechanism in case of countries would not oblige to the treaty. As you can imagine, this led to a very fragile setup of the whole union. The missing of sanction mechanism was also one of the main reasons for the downfall of the Latin Monetary Union. Another big reason was a solid rule between full embodied coins and divisional coins. Full embodied coins are coins which have an equal equivalent of metal to their value. Divisional coins use a lower amount of the standard material, therefore the printed value is higher than the material of the coins. For instance, if you have nowadays a bill of any given currency, usually the paper isn't worth what is printed on the bill. Also, the bimetallism was weak as due to the different prices for the metal, it often was cheaper to buy silver bars for already minted gold coins and let them mint into new silver coins. This resulted in a de facto gold standard by 1873, which was already the preferred option by the smaller countries. As the countries could also print paper money, and especially Italy and Greece took big advantage of this. This also increased the stress on the currency itself. If you want to understand why printing money leads into inflation and what the impact of inflation is, please check my video, which I linked here. As all these obstacles could not be overcome by the Latin Monetary Union, the union was finally dissolved by 1927. During the years, it was quite apparent that paper money was a real threat to the currency. It was tried to suppress excessive money printing by suspending certain countries or with re-exchange of the coins of a specific country. The re-exchange means that all the coins printed in a specific country were collected and sent back to its origin country, which then had to pay an indemnity. As an example, the credit institution Banque de France was able to decline to accept foreign coins and therefore deny the validity of foreign coins. As there was no supranational institution and no sanctions, the countries were usually still focusing first on national interests. The national interests were to all members way more important than the stability of the currency itself. All member states, except from Belgium, violated the Union Treaty at least once during the duration of the Union. All in all, even though the currency was widely used, this did not lead into a stronger political compromise or collaboration. As the countries itself were responsible for printing and minting their own money, there was no common monetary policy. With all these deficits and flaws in the setup of the Union itself, it was basically just a question of time when the whole system collapsed. However, I think the Latin Monetary Union was an interesting idea. As the science of economics, and especially in the monetary field, wasn't as developed, it was obvious that there have to be flaws in the setups. Considering that, it's quite impressive that the union existed quite a while. But more importantly, I think economic scientists could learn a lot from this story and analyze the mistakes which were made and improve the idea for upcoming plans of monetary unions. That's exactly what Robert Mundell did with his Nobel Prize-winning work on optimal currency areas. This was also important for the setup of the European Monetary Union and the introduction of the euro. What he concluded did I discuss in a previous video, which you can check as well. Did you ever hear of the Latin Monetary Union? I think it's a very interesting part in history, at least for Europeans, which most of the people haven't heard of. What's the most impressive for you on this union, and what do you think would have helped to keep it alive for longer? Let me know in the comments below and discuss. Also let me know what other topics I should cover in upcoming videos. If you're interested in economics and economic history, please also subscribe to my channel so you won't miss on any of my upcoming videos. And I'll see you in the next one.